This story begins with a man sitting atop a stack of treasures, items, weapons, and artifacts while he glances at his phone. He reads all the questions on his phone, asking if he reads webtoons, if he's on public transportation during the busy morning, or if it's a brief break during the day. Suddenly, a mysterious entity appears on his phone and asks the last question. But before the entity can finish, the man throws his phone. The story shifts to the heavenly arena, where a towering building resembling the biblical Tower of Babel catches the eye. Inside the arena, warriors engage in intense duels. Among them is Dean, a blonde-haired boy known as a class agility sword master, holding the second rank in the player hierarchy. Facing him is Nagi, a young girl with white hair and red eyes. She is a skilled glass swordswoman and currently holds the top spot as the #1 ranked player. Dean launches a sudden attack on Nagi, but she swiftly counters by casting a fireball, which she hurls at him. Swiftly reacting, Dean slices the fireball in half, but Nagi persists, using more magical spells to continue her assault. Despite this, Dean's speed allows him to evade all the attacks. Finally, Dean manages to close the distance and prepares to strike Nagi in the stomach. However, she retaliates with a deadly combustion sword attack that kills him instantly. In a sudden twist, Dean's arm gets severed by an unknown assailant's strike. The story takes a sudden turn, revealing it was just a manhwa the boy was reading on the bus. Reading the manhwa, the boy finds it predictable and becomes upset about starting it based on good reviews. He expresses dissatisfaction with the story, particularly disliking how the main character loses to a stronger character. Angrily, he comments that if his comment becomes the top rated, he'll show how the girl can be defeated using a combusting blade. The mysterious guy, who appeared godlike earlier in the story, finds the boy's comment funny and clicks the like button on it. The boy is pleased to see one like on his comment, thinking it's a good start. He then notices a reply mentioning an important event for the main character's development. Smirking, he dismisses the reply, considering it a lame comment for using words like development, and emphasizes that webtoons are meant for enjoyment. A voice startles him, asking if he can move his bag, and he sees Hee-seo-yoon, a popular girl from his class. Feeling shocked, he realizes she's the same girl he described as not being friendly with him, yet she sits down beside him on the bus. He feels a bit awkward, unsure how to act around her since they don't usually interact. After getting off the bus, Hee-seo smiles at him and asks if he can hold onto a pack of cigarettes for her. He is surprised and uncomfortable with the request, knowing that cigarettes are not allowed in school, so he asks her why. She admits that he probably knows already, but she got caught by a teacher, and she wants him to hold on to them until lunchtime. Feeling taken aback, he questions why he should do that. She smiles and says it's because they are friends, catching him off guard with that sudden statement. Meanwhile, the comment he left has now received 20 likes. Now in his classroom, he can't stop thinking about the situation and wonders what he should do next. He ponders if he should just hold on to the cigarettes for a while, finding the situation nerve-wracking, and questions why a high schooler would have cigarettes in the first place. The boy observed Hee-seo-yoon and the main characters of their class sitting in the third seat from the back, discussing the term combustion sword. She tries to stop them from talking about it. Hee-seo is surrounded by a group of popular kids, prompting the boy to plan on giving her the cigarettes discreetly during lunchtime. Hearing the term combustion sword, the boy becomes curious as the popular kids discuss it, referencing a webtoon called Player. He approaches them and asks if they are indeed talking about the webtoon Player. The boy attempts to join their conversation about the combustion sword from the recent episode, but his sudden approach makes everyone feel awkward. He praises the author's planning of the main character's use of the combustion sword, but the group remains distant. Despite his efforts to engage them, the cold reaction hurts him deeply. He realizes that the topic doesn't even matter, it's his intrusion that causes everyone to look at him with disgust. Apologizing, he explains that he was just intrigued by their conversation and didn't mean to intrude. Hee-seo responds with disgust, calling him a weirdo, and he feels embarrassed. Another guy reveals the boy's name by asking his friend if he knows Seol Jin-hyo, and if they are close. And of course he doesn't. Asks another friend if they know him, but they don't. He then asks Hee-seo-yoon, who denies knowing him and says he doesn't even know him. Feeling embarrassed, Jin-hyo walks away, and Tae-won Kim, a friendly blonde guy, approaches him. Tae-won Kim admits to reading webtoons regularly, but others mock him, calling him an otaku and gross. Jin-hyo continues to feel self-conscious as Tae-won Kim looks at him with pity while his comments gain more likes, now at 46 likes. Outside, they play soccer, but Jin-hyo is still preoccupied with the earlier embarrassing incident, regretting his unnecessary involvement. During the game, a call comes in for Jin Hyo, and one of the popular guys tells him to block it. Frustrated, he kicks the ball with all his strength but misses, leading the other team to win. People cheer their goal while the other guy expresses disappointment and blames Jin Hyo for not blocking the ball. Feeling embarrassed, Jin Hyo goes to his friends and asks about the ice cream they were betting on. T1 Kim apologizes for his curiosity about the Manhwa player, but everyone is mad at him and tells him to stop talking about it. Meanwhile, the likes on his comments continue to increase, reaching 67 likes. In the men's comfort room, Jin Hyo stays there to read the Manhwa from earlier, skipping PE lessons. Remembering T1 Kim's earlier comment, Jin Hyo feels like a joke and regrets hiding in the bathroom, finding it even lamer. The memory of missing the ball during soccer makes him cringe, feeling immensely embarrassed. When a classmate enters the bathroom, Jin Hyo wonders if PE is already over and worries that leaving now would be awkward. Two friends of his are talking about him, calling him a show-off, and Jin Hyo overhears them saying mean things about him. They discuss how he crossed the line since morning, and one of them asks T1 Kim why he always covers for Jin Hyo today. T1 Kim explains that they are not close, but he finds Jin Hyo pitiful, shocking Jin Hyo. The bell rings, indicating that Korean language class is starting, and everyone rushes out to avoid being late and facing punishment. One Kim notices something in the bathroom stall, and the others wonder if it's Jin Hyo. Jin Hyo feels relieved they didn't find him but is hurt when One Kim calls him pathetic before leaving. Depressed and shaking with anger and embarrassment, Jin Hyo despises a webtoon where the main character loses to a stronger enemy, realizing that losing in real life is enough. Feeling gloomy and fed up with the reality of being bullied, Jin Hyo wishes to become the main character of a story. As he ponders, the likes on his comment drastically rise to thousands or even millions. God fulfills his wish, allowing him to try, and then lightning strikes on their school. Amid the noise of the cheering crowd, an announcer announces the final winner of the tournament. Jin Hyo wakes up and finds himself in the heavenly arena, completely baffled and confused about what is happening. He remembers a familiar face to which it is Nagi, the #1 player facing him at the arena, while Seol Jin Hyo is just a class student with the lowest rank. The Manhwa story continues, showing Dean's arm getting severed by Naga's sword, leaving him shocked at her speed and prowess. Dean accepts his defeat and the crowd goes wild, cheering for Nagi as the announcer declares her the winner. Some of the audience members are disappointed, feeling it was a predictable end, while one of Jin Hyo's friends points out a twist in the match when Dean managed to get past Naga's absolute domain. The other guy dismisses the twist, emphasizing that Dean still lost in the end. But the girl defends Naga's skill and intelligence. She explains that it was the first time someone entered Naga's absolute domain in all the tournaments, making it a historical moment. The man is incredulous, asking if it's really possible, and she asserts that it is because Nagi holds the first rank and has an invincible defense with her absolute domain as her signature move. Suddenly, a blue lightning strikes in the middle of the Colosseum, right in front of Nagi, shocking everyone and leaving them wondering what's happening. He told her that this was the first time someone got past absolute domain. With a surprised look on his face, he pointed to a man in front of Nagi and tells him that someone got past it. Everyone in the Colosseum audience is extremely shocked when an unknown man appears. They announce that an extraordinary event has occurred where an unidentified man who stands in front of Nagi, the invisible first rank. The unidentified man's presence inside Nagi's absolute domain shocks everyone, especially Dean, who finds it impossible as even he barely got past it in the second round. Jin Hyo appears intimidating but is actually scared and confused, not understanding what's going on. He realizes he was just in the bathroom a second ago and is now in a strange situation with a lady who resembles the character from the webtoon player he read in the morning, making him believe he's dreaming. Nagi asks Jin to identify himself, and he responds boastfully, wondering if this is a lucid dream and feeling stressed out today. Nagi instructs him not to move and explains that her class is a sword master, and her strength lies in her basic training, leading to highly detailed skills like the absolute domain. Dean warns Jin not to get closer, knowing Nagi would cut him up without hesitation due to the perfection of her skills in the absolute domain. Nagi warns Jin that if he gets close, she will cut him down. Surprisingly, she activates her absolute domain skill, leaving everyone shocked and in awe of her power. Dean is overwhelmed, realizing she still has so much power left, and wonders what she will do next and what her limit is. Everyone sees Nagi as full of animosity, witnessing the true power of the absolute domain, and believes the guy in front of her is done for, as nobody can stand against such killing intent. However, Jin seems unaffected and looks confused while staring at Nagi, surprising Dean that he can withstand the power of the domain. Jin asks Nagi about the sudden gust of wind, finding it nice and cool. Nagi gets more serious, surprised by his resilience, and decides to accept his challenge, unsheathing her sword. She points her sword at him and tells him to come at her, showing seriousness on her face. Dean is surprised to see Nagi draw her sword, wondering if she was holding back her power against Jin. Jin initially cowers in fear, apologizing, thinking that facing a sword is too much even if it's a dream. However, he remembers all he's been through that day and questions himself if he should run away even in his dreams, realizing he shouldn't be a coward. With determination, he tells himself not to run away, as it's just a dream. He asks Nagi if he looks easy or like a pushover to her. Jin rushes at Nagi, preparing for an attack, feeling confident that he can win at any cost. He considers that it might not be a dream after all, but draws out a move as a bluff, having a reason behind his actions. Xiao Jinhyo realizes that Nagi's sword wasn't moving, and there was no killing intent, assuming she only wanted to scare him to show the difference in their power. However, he is unaware that the moment she drew her blade, his fate was sealed. He gets cut down effortlessly, feeling no pain until his body falls apart. Naga's attack was so fast that even the arena was cut into pieces, leaving everyone confused about what happened. Nagi remains composed and asks the commentator to announce the result. It's declared that the unidentified man is unable to continue, and Nagi wins the match. The god, who was watching and reading the webtoon, feels disappointed as it wasn't as fun or emotional as he hoped, and it didn't match his promises. The god decides to intervene and summons Xiao Jinhyo to his place with a click of a button. Xiao Jinhyo finds himself floating in darkness, wondering if he has died, but suddenly a light appears, and he gets summoned to the god's place. There, he wakes up on the floor and is greeted by a girl with blonde hair, nameless, without a class or rank. Jinhyo is looked down upon by the unknown lady, who finds him stupid. The girl is angry that he's not responding to her calls, but Jin finally responds by asking where he is. Suddenly, the girl casts a fire spell on him, using fire elements, and uses it to grab our hero's neck like Darth Vader. She tells him she will forgive him for staring at her without permission, but questions her and asks him if he wants to fight her. The fire intensifies as the girl controls it, threatening Jin and telling him he crossed the line. Suddenly, God intervenes and stops her. The girl disappears and turns back into a flaming sword, which Arthur holds. He apologizes to Jin and explains that the girl hasn't been around for long. Arthur introduces himself as the god of his world and asks Jin to call him Arthur. He appears as an average male wearing a t-shirt and long pants, with blonde hair and a carefree smile. His eyes are covered with censorship. The sword pleads with Arthur to let her go, blaming Jin for starting the situation. Arthur is dissatisfied with her and asks her to be quiet, saying she's ruining his vibe. Arthur asks Jin what's wrong, and Jin stammers and asks for forgiveness. Arthur kneels down and tells Jin that he doesn't understand the situation he's in. He explains that he has chosen Jin to be one of the players in the world. Jin is confused, as he only knows player as the title of a webtoon and doesn't know what being a player in the world means. Arthur, the god, is surprised by Jin's reaction and asks if he read his manhwa correctly. Jin is confused, and Arthur sighs, annoyed that he has to explain again. He raises his hand, about to snap his fingers to show and explain the Heavenly Arena Terrarium. He describes the terrarium as filled with endless golden treasure, and a tower full of hopes and dreams, and those who climb the tower are called players. Jin finally realizes the truth about what a player is, but he's still confused. Arthur commands his sword, Excalibur, to go on a journey with Jin, guiding him throughout the series. Both Jin and Excalibur are shocked to hear this. Excalibur begs Arthur not to send her down to the human world with Jin, and Jin agrees that he doesn't want to go with someone like her either. Arthur tells them to calm down as it's something that has already been decided. He grabs Excalibur and throws her at Jin in a circle of fire, and Excalibur accepts her fate and agrees to follow Jin's commands as her master wishes. The god bids farewell and reminds Jin that Excalibur is a legendary sword he personally made, urging her to help Jin on their journey. Excalibur cries and begs God not to leave her, but he ignores her pleas and jokingly asks them to come back with Korean ice cream called Melona. God transports them to the human world, placing them at the lowest ground of the tower. Jin and Excalibur cough from the dust and wonder if there was a less chaotic way to be transported. Jin calls out to Excalibur, but he finds her appearance changed. She has become a small kid with short hair, causing her to panic. Jin feels sorry for her and asks why she changed. Excalibur blames him, saying it's his fault, and kicks him in the head. Meanwhile, someone approaches them, and God forgot to mention that he prepared a tutorial quest to guide them. Excalibur dismisses the location's importance, stating she's in a weak state. Suddenly, a strong-looking man in hunter clothes and bear skin appears, whom they refer to as the Bear Guy. Jin is speechless at the sight, while Excalibur nags at him for not responding to her earlier. The Bear Guy sneaks up behind Excalibur, and Jin screams for her to watch out. Excalibur notices and easily dodges the Bear Guy's attack. The Bear Guy doesn't stop and continues to rush at Excalibur, punching her multiple times. She tries to dodge his attacks but gets grazed near her neck. Enraged, the Bear Guy launches a powerful attack, punching Excalibur to the ground, leaving Jin worried for her safety. Excalibur continues to dodge the attacks but is struggling to deal with the Bear Guy. Suddenly, he comes at her from behind, catching her off guard. Jin quickly checks on Excalibur to ensure she's alright, all the while bombarding the Bear Guy with questions about his identity and the reason behind the attack. Unfazed by Jin's inquiry, the Bear Guy retorts, firing back with a question of his own, wondering who Jin and Excalibur are. Meanwhile, a group of thieves, garbed in distinctive red robes, emerges, alerted by the ruckus. Introducing themselves as the Redwood Thieves, they reveal that this place is their territory, the very spot where Excalibur and Jin have found themselves transported to. Although the Bear Guy is nameless and referred to as a player, a Red Wolf class monk, but we can just call him the Bear Guy. The atmosphere becomes tense as the thieves demand retribution for the intrusion and question whether Jin and Excalibur are prepared to face the consequences of their actions. With a commanding tone, the thieves order their guild members to apprehend Excalibur, prompting them all to rush towards her, ready to capture her. Excalibur's transformation into a sword is a sight to behold. Flames dance around her as she takes on a new form, and her blade gleams with an otherworldly aura. Jin is in awe, witnessing the incredible power within her. The thieves from the Redwood Guild step back, unsure of how to handle the situation. They had no idea that Excalibur was an ego weapon, a living, sentient weapon with immense abilities. Fear grips their hearts as they realize the grave mistake they made in underestimating her. The guild members are shocked and realize that she is an ego weapon. Jin can feel Excalibur's determination and strength coursing through him as they fight together. He realizes that she is not just a weapon, she is a true ally and a force to be reckoned with. However, Bear Guy suddenly notices something unusual, causing even the gods to burst into laughter at the absurdity of the situation. After undergoing the transformation, Jin comes to a grim realization that his sword has become feeble and broken, leaving him with the ominous certainty that they are now confronting their inevitable demise. God explains that Excalibur is what is known as an ego sword, a soul-infused legendary weapon that grows with its master. However, she is currently powerless and devoid of her potential. Meanwhile, our hero is burdened with the lowest rank and knows survival is unlikely, given Excalibur's weakened state. The shock of her current form overwhelms Excalibur as she questions what has happened to her once mighty self. Excalibur, a class ego sword with the lowest rank due to her current master's status, grovels down and experiences the worst moment of weakness. Depressed and yearning to return home with God, Excalibur is uncertain of their next move, leaving Jin to ask for guidance. She requests solitude, wanting to be left alone. The Bear Guy stands behind them, visibly disappointed, realizing they might both be considered worthless. Having destroyed the hideout, they must now pay the price. Jin inquires about the cost, and the guild members confront him, warning that the consequences will be severe, suggesting even the loss of limbs or worse. Panic sets in for Jin as he realizes the thieves are insane, and Excalibur's life is at risk. She must escape, no matter what. Excalibur, no longer depressed, rises to her feet, offended by the Bear Guy's assessment. She vehemently rejects being paired with a weak master and exclaims her strength. The guild members are intimidated by her power and realize she might be a formidable ranker. Surprisingly, God is shocked that Excalibur has retained some of his power. Excalibur points her hand at the guild members and commands them to die, causing a massive earthquake with her unleashed power. The Bear Guy and others, witnessing her unparalleled skill, urge their boss to stop standing around and flee. While Excalibur deals with them daily, Jin sneaks out to make a run for it. Excalibur tells him that it's too late for that, and they will end up in their graves, as rage fills her face. However, God smiles and forbids her from doing that, as he can manipulate anything in his world. He takes away her hidden power. About to attack, Excalibur is surprised when only a small flame appears, making her feel awkward and embarrassed. She doesn't know why her power won't work as it should, and she's not used to this situation. The Bear Guy watches, expecting her to unleash something powerful. Feeling embarrassed, Excalibur scratches her head and apologizes. The Bear Guy stands disappointed, becoming serious and orders the members to kill them all. Meanwhile, Jin is far away, trying to escape and wondering what happened to her. He fled because of her earlier display of power. However, he can't leave her like that and wants to help her in any way. Suddenly, our hero senses something, and he notices the bear guy glaring at him with tense killing intent. Meanwhile, Excalibur struggles against the thieves' members. She doesn't have a choice and asks our hero for help, but she finds out that he has already disappeared. This concludes the first part of the series. What will happen next? Will they be able to escape the thieves with the bear guy chasing after our hero? What does God plan next? Will they all survive in the next chapter? Stay tuned for the next part of this gripping series.